Describe a game experience that changed how you play. This was a tough one. It's still a tough one. As I sit here about to blather on, I am not sure how I'm going to answer it. There are a few things, a few moments in gaming that I can recall that changed the way I play. And again, like most things, I'm going to have to take this from the standpoint of player and game master because they're two very different experiences. So, changed how I play. I'll take it from game master first. And they're not single experiences. I think they're evolving experiences over the years. Maybe inspirations of games that I played. I think that's probably the right way for me to answer this. So, things that change the way I play. From a game mastering perspective, I would have to say playing in games with, as a player, with Jason Corley, who has a very interesting way about the way he runs games. It's called Pressures on the Party, and I'm sure I'll discuss that at some point. Sean Patrick Fannin has run a couple of games for me, and he puts on a spectacle with his games. And this is apparently even with his regular game. I jumped into his Modern Gods game of Prowlers and Paragons when I was visiting family in Colorado. And man, he's just on point, and it's very entertaining. I also got to play at Crit Hit. He was there. His Freedom Squadron game for Savage Worlds, and it makes me think about how I want to be a game master. I recently played in a Powered by the Apocalypse game that was not satisfying. That reminded me, that gave me a feeling that I never want to cause my players to feel. I wanted the game to just hurry up and end. And I don't know that I can blame Powered by the Apocalypse games for this, because my exposure is limited, and I've enjoyed the games. I got to play with Mark Diaz Truman. He ran a game of Urban Shadows that was fun. But I will tell you that I've not enjoyed more games as a player of that than others. And I think it has to do with the whole concept of improv and emergent play. And I think I enjoy that less than I thought I did. And I think as a game master that perhaps I need to change the way I run, because I do an emergent style, and sometimes it feels less good because sometimes it falls flat if you're not 100% sure what's on your mind and you're just kind of trying to run off the cuff. It falls flat. I had a game session a little over a year ago of Fate Accelerated that fell flat because I ran it off the cuff. And I recently ran It's Not My Fault for Fate Accelerated, and it went great. And the whole time, I didn't enjoy myself game mastering. And it was because I had that memory of this could fall flat. And I had had that recent Power by the Apocalypse thing. It was too stressful to do. So I think this combination of experiences is changing the way I'm game mastering. I'm prepping more than I ever have, and I think I'm taking more of a responsibility for making sure that I'm going to put on a game that I know I can run for the time I want to run in, instead of flying by the seat of my pants. Well, I hope that wasn't too jumbled, but that's the game master side of things. And another one, honorable mention, about having that really great feel. A few years ago, my single favorite player experience was playing Lucha Libre Hero with Bill Keys. And I had so much fun that I had to go out and learn about Lucha Libre, like learn more about it. I knew some cursory stuff, but I had to learn more about it. So this is actually a good segue into the player side. Changed the way I played. I wasn't much of a role player until I met my wife. And by role player, I mean player. I mean, I'd already game mastered, and I game mastered a lot of games by the time I'd met her in 97. But I wasn't much of a role player until I met her. And the reason for that is that she is such an amazing player that she tends to make the people around her get better, or not necessarily fade into the background, but it's definitely really obvious if you're not keeping up with her at the table. And I've met a lot of great role players since, but I think she's made me a better role player. There was a game I played in a few years ago, and that was a long-running game of Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition that we played together in, and she really upped my game in that game. And a Supers game that we played, my buddy Paul ran in Savage Worlds. That game really upped my game too as a player. So now I feel like a good role player. I feel like a good role player and a skilled game master that needs to get better at prep. So I think this answers the question. It might seem a little off, maybe. I'm not sure. I feel like I rambled. But because there's no single experience that changed the way I played, although I think I named a few. But we'll get to the next question tomorrow. You'll get to see that. And until then, do good, avoid evil, and play more games.